Welcome to Review Unit 9 on functions and relations. All right, so you're going to find the ordered pairs for each of these functions. So for all of them, we're going to make x equals 4, right? And we're going to evaluate these functions. So we're going to put 4 where x is. So negative 2 times 4 plus 9, which equals negative 8 plus 9, which is positive 1. So when x is 4, y is 1. This is a point on this function. And there is no other point that starts with 4 on that function, right? Because you can't have duplicates in the domain of a function. So we have y equals 5 times 4 squared. Exponents come before multiplying. 5 times 16 is, now 10 times 16 is 160, so you do half of 160 would be the faster way. But this is 80, and so that means the point 480 is on this function. And then this one, y equals 4 cubed. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. And, right? And so the point on this one is 464. Now, it says label each as linear or nonlinear, right? Where do you look? You look at the exponent of x. So the exponent of x is 1, and that means this is a linear function, and this is what we spent most of our time on, right? We should all be able to look at that right away and say, whoa, the y-intercept is 0, 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right there, 0, 9, and the slope is negative 2, which means down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So this thing looks something like that. It's a linear function. Y equals 5x squared. When you see squared, first of all, it's nonlinear. All right, but when it's x squared, what shape do we get? We get a parabola, right? We get these U shapes. This one looks something like that. And this is a parabola, right? This is a line. Okay. By the way, lines have arrows on both ends, so do parabolas. And that's B-O-L-A. And then x cubed, also nonlinear, not a straight line. Right? Lines are straight. All right. All these things are called curves. Parabola is a type of curve. This one, when it's x cubed, you get this shape that's I call the bad chair, but that's a Mr. Ben thing. All right, but it looks like that. And what happens is it sort of looks like the parabola on one side, but it doesn't flip back up. It keeps going down. That's what happens with x cubed. Also non-linear, not a straight line. All right. All right, so is this point on the line? So what we have to do is put it in there and see if the math works out. So we put the negative 14 where y is. We put the 5 where x is. Negative 14, negative 4, multiplication before addition. Negative 4 times 5, negative 20. Negative 20 plus 6, negative 14. Yes, right? So if you get something that's true, yes, it's on the line. Right now, the other way you could do it is sit there and graph it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I'm not giving you graph paper. Then down 4 over 1. So it looks like this. Whoops. Right? It looks like this. And so 5, negative 14, something like way down here is 5, negative 14, which is on the line. Now, you couldn't, with the graph, you couldn't tell if it real truthfully is on the line or not unless you had graph paper. So the better way is just put it in the equation. All right, this is the same question. Is the point on the line? Is the point a member of the function? Why don't I say it's on a line? Because that's not going to be a line. That's going to be a parabola, right? But we're going to see, same thing. The y is 26, 7 times 2 squared. Exponents first, which is 4. 7 times 4 is 28. That's not true. No! So that means this point, 226, is close. It's close to the parabola, but it's not on it. Can't be. And I know it's close because these numbers are close. Okay, so now we're going to, some of the easiest points on the test should be look at that and know the slope is 7 and the y-intercept is 0, 2. Now, if you say the y-intercept is 2, you're going to get no points for that question. The y-intercept here is 0, 2. All y-intercepts are on the y-axis. They are points, not numbers. So 0, 2, slope of 7. All right, slope is -1/2. What's the y-intercept? 0, 0. All right, what's the slope here? The slope here is 3. It's the coefficient of x, the number multiplying x. It's not the first number. The y-intercept is 0, -5. What kind of functions are these? These are all linear functions. They're in what form? Y equals mx plus b. What's the name of that form? Slope intercept. You might want to write that down. Right? These are linear functions. We write them in the form y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b has a name, slope intercept. Why do we call it that? Because you can look at the equation and see the slope and y-intercept. It's a good name. All right, so we're going to put that into, slope is 1, but we're not going to write plus, we're not going to write any of that, right? 1x you write as x always, not just today. Plus -3 you write as -3. So this is y equals x minus 3. Okay. This is y equals 0x minus 8. Well, what's 0x? 0 times x is 0. What's 0 minus 8? Right? Well, this is, where did x go? What kind of lines have a slope of 0? Horizontal line. This is a horizontal line. It looks like that's the wall. There's the y-axis or the x-axis, and there's the y-axis. And there is a horizontal line down at -8 that looks like that. Find the y-intercept, right? It's right there. It's 0, 3. You'll get no points if you write 3. Find the slope, all right? So, whoops, I messed that up. I go down and then over. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 5. If you write positive 3/5, no points. This is going down. Look at the arrow on the right. This one's there just because it's a line. But look at the arrow on the right. If it's pointing up, you have a positive slope. If it's pointing down, you have a negative slope. What's the function? Y equals -3/5 x plus 3. Plot the function y equals -2x. Well, there's a couple of ways. Now, I give you the table, you have to fill it in. There's going to be a table you fill in. So when x is 0, -2 times 0 is 0. X is 1, -2 times that. I'll show it, I guess. -2, -2 times 2, -4, -2 times 3, -6, -2 times 4, -8. All right, let me show the math here. -2 times 0 is 0. So we have 0, 0. We have 1, 2. We have 2, 1, oh, 1 -2, right? 1 -2, 1 -2, 2 -4, 3 -6, and 4 -8. All right, so now that's one way to plot it, and you can draw a line through that. The other way to plot it is to realize it has to have a y-intercept of 0, 0, right? Because there's nothing there. And then we're going down 2 over 1. That's way faster, okay? But either way, now you're not going to be necessarily graphing on this test. Depends on what version you're taking. But you have to be able to pick it out, what this graph looks like, okay? All right, what's the name of that shape? U-shape? No, it's called a parabola. Okay, it just sounds exactly how it is. Is it a function? Yes. This is a function. If it's on its side, no. But if it's pointing up or down, yes. This is yes also, right? Because there are no duplicate x values along here. There are no duplicates in the domain. There are no duplicate x values. Which is the correct one? You should be able to just look. The only one of these that could possibly make that is the one where the exponent is 2. That's a line. That's a bad chair, right? That's another line. Okay, those are linears. Plot the graph y equals 5. All right, so it's in the form y equals mx plus b. So what is 5? That's b, right? That's b. So the slope here was 0. What kind of line has a slope of 0? This has a y-intercept of 0, 5, and a slope of 0. So you have to be able to look at a horizontal line and know its equation. That's not very horizontal. It should be parallel to the x-axis if you're graphing them well. And that's not so good either, but that's the idea. Plot a graph of x equals -7. So this is not in y equals mx plus b. In this thing, the x coordinate, that's what x is. This was y coordinate is always 5, right? Y coordinate is always 5, everywhere on the line. This is x coordinate is always -7. What kind of line would have an x coordinate that is -7, right? That is a vertical line. All right, this one is a relation. All right, it is not a function. That's why it doesn't start with y. All right, y equals mx plus b doesn't work. This one is a linear function. It is a linear function. The red one doesn't have any duplicate x's. The blue one here has nothing but duplicate x's. Every x here is -7. Right, there's -7, -7. Here's -7, -9. All right, everything starts with -7. So it can't be a function, it's a relation. It's a vertical line. The red one is what kind of line? A horizontal line. The horizontal line is a linear function. The vertical line is a linear relation. Okay, so to find out if something's a function relation, you look for duplicates in the domain. If you don't see any duplicates, you're a function. Unfortunately, I do. So that means this is just a relation. All right. Because what that means is when you go to -2, 2, -2, -5, there are duplicates in the domain. There are two, x can give you two different values. You also can tell from the graph because they're right on top of each other. This fails the vertical line test. All right. A vertical line hits it twice. Again, we have 1, -1, 5, and 10. Now, in both these cases, these are not linear functions. These are random points that are just graph. They're not connected by a line. But there are no duplicates here, so just 4, yeah, that's a function. It's not a linear function, okay? It's just a bunch of points. Same thing here. All right, you're looking for duplicates in the domain. There they are. There are duplicates there. There's 3, 4. And there's 3, 0. We have duplicates in the domain. What does that mean? It's a relation, right? If one of those wasn't here, then it would be a function because the rest aren't duplicates. Okay, find the linear function. Okay, so the first thing you do, this is the end of the test, you find the slope. Subtract your y's, subtract your x's. I got a slope of 7. You put that, then you see, do I know the y-intercept? This is an easy one. There'll be easy and hard ones. The easy ones are right there. Y equals 7x plus 3. The y-intercept's in the table. You don't have to figure it out like the last lesson. Let's do this one. All right, I'm going to do the slope over here. Now remember, when you do the slope, you have to have your y's up top and your x's on the bottom. So I'm going to do 1 minus, no, let's do 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 over 4 minus 3. I'm over here, flipping it upside down because I have to. 1 over 1. The slope here is 1. Okay. And the slope is 1. Is the y-intercept in the table? There it is. It's not this one, right? A y-intercept is the one that starts with 0. All right. Be careful. So what's the equation? We have to find the linear function. Y equals 1x minus 2, but we don't write that, right? We write y equals x minus 2. Well, what does that equation mean? It means the y-coordinate is always 2 less than the x-coordinate. Yeah, that's what's going on here. All right, so that brings us to the ones, neither one of those is the y-intercept. Okay, so we have to find the slope. So I'm going to subtract my x's, and I'm going to do -2 minus -8 over 4 minus 1. -2 minus -8, same as -2 plus 8, 6. 4 minus 1, 3. The slope here is 2. So I'm going to put that in y equals 2x plus b. Well, I'll pick the second one. So -8 equals 2 times 1 plus b. So 2 times 1 is 2. So I subtract 2 from both sides. I get -10 equals b. So the y-intercept is 0, -10. So the equation there's only one line that goes through those 2 points, and it has a slope of -2 and has a y-intercept of 0, -10, and it has the equation y equals -2x minus 10. Same thing here. All right, so let's find our slope. This is horizontal, so it's upside down. 7 minus 5 over 2 minus 3. You get 2 over -1, -2 for my slope. We put that into y equals -2x plus b. Let's pick 7 and 2. 7 equals -2 times 2 plus b. That's -4, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 11 equals b. The y-intercept is 0, 11. So it is y equals -2x plus 11. If you're not sure, check your work. -2 times 4 plus 11. Better be 3. Yeah, it is. And so on. This makes all these combinations and every other combination on this linear function, this line. All right, so we're going to write an equation for all three. So let's start with the one in black. So, right, there's its slope. Slope is 3. So that is a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of down here at 0, -6. So it's y equals 3x minus 6. Then the blue one, right, has a y-intercept of 0, -5, and it's horizontal, so its slope is 0, right? So you have y equals 0x minus 5, also known as y equals -5. All right, last one, the red one is vertical, right? It does not have a slope, right? It does not have a y-intercept, but it does have an equation. What is the x-coordinate every time? X equals -9. That is vertical. It's a relation, right? It's a linear relation, but it's a relation. All right, and both of these are linear functions. Why are they linear functions? There are no duplicate x's anywhere along that graph. Good luck with the test.